file across the crowded restaurant. There, sitting at a corner table surrounded by well-dressed associates, was a face she hadn't seen in 12 years but would recognize anywhere. Jackson Bennett, her first love, the boy who had promised her the world, then vanished without a trace during their senior year of high school. She clutched her serving tray tighter against her chest, suddenly grateful for the dim lighting that kept her partially hidden among the restaurant's elegant shadows. "Jen, table 7 needs their order taken," called Marcia, the floor manager, snapping Jennifer back to reality. "And Mr. Peterson said the investors at table 12 need the special treatment. Apparently, some big-shot CEO is among them." "Right, sorry," Jennifer mumbled, adjusting her uniform and tucking a stray strand of auburn hair behind her ear. At 32, she hadn't imagined she'd still be waiting tables at Peterson's, one of Philadelphia's upscale restaurants. But life had thrown her a series of curveballs, and after her mother's cancer diagnosis 2 years ago, she had put her own dreams of opening a bakery on hold to help with the mounting medical bills. She took a deep breath and headed toward table 7, purposely taking the long route to avoid passing by Jackson's table. As she scribbled down a young couple's anniversary dinner order, her mind raced back to that summer after junior year, when she and Jackson had been inseparable. The way he'd kiss her under the old oak tree by the lake, his ambitious dreams of becoming an architect, the promise rings they'd exchanged, vowing to attend the same college, and then his mysterious disappearance that left her heartbroken and confused for years. "Miss, could we also get a bottle of your Cabernet?" The man's voice pulled Jennifer back to the present. "Of course, excellent choice," she replied with her practiced server smile, completing their order before reluctantly making her way toward table 12. As she approached, her palms grew sweaty. Jackson sat with his back to her, his once shaggy brown hair now expertly trimmed, his shoulders broader under an obviously expensive suit. The table fell silent as she approached, and Mr. Peterson himself appeared, placing a proprietary hand on Jennifer's shoulder. "Jennifer will be taking special care of your table tonight, gentlemen," Peterson announced proudly. "She's our finest server." Jennifer's cheeks flushed as 6 pairs of eyes turned to her, all except Jackson's. He seemed absorbed in studying the wine list. "We'll start with your finest champagne," said an older gentleman with silver hair. "We're celebrating a major acquisition today." "Of course, sir," Jennifer replied, her voice steadier than she felt. "Would you like to hear about our chef's specials this evening?" As she recited the menu from memory, she felt someone's gaze intensify. Slowly, Jackson turned in his chair, his eyes lifting to meet hers for the first time. For a moment, the bustling restaurant seemed to fall away, leaving just the two of them suspended in time. A flicker of something, recognition, shock, passed across his face before it settled into a polite, impersonal smile. "That sounds excellent," he said smoothly, his voice deeper than she remembered, but unmistakably his. "We'll trust your recommendations." He didn't recognize her. Or worse, he did and didn't care. Jennifer nodded professionally, collected the menus and retreated to the kitchen, her hands trembling slightly. How could he not remember her? Or was he just pretending for the sake of his colleagues? "You okay?" asked Marcia, noticing Jennifer's pallor as she punched in the order. "You look like you've seen a ghost." "Something like that," Jennifer muttered. Through the kitchen's round window, she could see Jackson laughing with his associates, looking every inch the successful businessman. What had happened to the boy who sketched buildings on napkins and talked about creating homes for people in need? The kitchen was a flurry of activity, chefs calling orders and line cooks moving with practiced precision. Jennifer leaned against the cool steel counter, trying to compose herself. This was ridiculous. It had been 12 years. Whatever they had shared as teenagers was long gone, buried under the weight of adult responsibilities and the passage of time. "Order up for table 9, the head chef called, sliding plates onto the pass. Jennifer forced herself back into professional mode, delivering the meals to a family celebrating a graduation before returning to check on Jackson's table. "How is everything this evening, gentlemen?" she asked, refilling water glasses and avoiding direct eye contact with Jackson. "Exceptional," the silver-haired man responded. "Bennett, you were right about this place." Jackson nodded, taking a sip of his wine. "Peterson's has always had a special significance to me." Jennifer nearly dropped the water pitcher. Was that a hint that he remembered? that he knew exactly who she was. "More bread, please," another executive requested, and Jennifer was grateful for the distraction. As she hurried back to the kitchen, she caught a glimpse of her reflection in the polished surface of a serving tray. She hardly recognized herself sometimes. The confident, ambitious girl, who once had a scholarship to culinary school, now replaced by a woman with perpetual worry lines etched between her brows. Her mother's illness had changed everything, forcing her to drop out and take whatever work she could find. Peterson's had been a lifeline with its decent pay and flexible hours that allowed her to coordinate her mother's care. Throughout the evening, Jennifer maintained her composure as she served Jackson's table. Not once did he give any indication that he knew her, though occasionally she caught him watching her with a curious expression when he thought she wasn't looking. By the time she brought their desserts, she had convinced herself that he truly didn't recognize her. 12 years was a long time, and she had changed too. Her once long hair now fell in a practical bob, and the carefree girl she'd been had been replaced by a woman weathered by responsibility and sacrifice. The group lingered over coffee and cognac, discussing business matters in hushed tones. Jennifer moved efficiently around them, invisible yet essential, the way servers often were to the wealthy. She overheard fragments of conversation, something about a revolutionary housing project, sustainable materials, and a major investment opportunity. "Your vision could transform urban living," one man said to Jackson, "not just for the elite, but for everyone." Jackson's response surprised her. "That's always been the point. Architecture isn't just about designing beautiful buildings, it's about creating spaces where people can thrive, regardless of their means." It sounded like the Jackson she had known, the idealistic boy with big dreams about changing the world through design. Perhaps some part of him had remained true to that vision after all. As the night progressed, the restaurant gradually emptied. Mr. Peterson personally escorted some VIP guests to the door, while Marcia began the closing procedures. Jennifer's feet ached from the long shift, but Jackson's table showed no signs of leaving. Finally, as the clock neared midnight, the men gathered their things. The silver-haired man pulled out a company credit card and handed it to Jennifer.